PetVivo is an emerging biomedical device company focused on the licensing and commercialization of innovative medical devices for pets. And with me is CEO John Ghiai. John, welcome.
Thank you.
Great
It's
to
a
meet
real
you.
pleasure to be here. Finally in person.
We've talked on Zoom so many times. And you just had a major milestone, uplisting PetVivo to the NASDAQ. You've also got a new CFO, NASDAQ season. Talk to me about all these things that PetVivo has been doing lately.
Yeah, it's been an exciting 30, 40 days here. You know, we've gotten the uplift, we got tremendous more visibility, and our website has picked up tremendously in terms of viewerships. We have a very seasoned CFO. He was with another medical device company where it grew from 10 million market cap to 1.6 billion, beat 11 straight consecutive earnings estimates by Wall Street. So that's always a good sign to get somebody as seasoned as that.
Yeah, for sure. And you've been working in osteoarthritis for a number of years with canine, horses as well. What exactly is that? Explain that, and how's your treatment different?
Sure. So osteoarthritis is the wearing away of the cartilage. It degrades over time. It doesn't get any better. And what happens is when it starts to wear away, you get bone-on-bone contact. With that bone-on-bone contact, you get inflammation and pain. And it's a very large problem for dogs and horses. Our treatment is quite different in the approach. We identify that the bone-on-bone contact is the major cause, so we inject our particles in, which is naturally derived, and it's basically collagen, elastin, heparin, building blocks or structure of cartilage and tissue. So once it's injected into the joint, it acts and provides cushion between the bones. And given that the particles are wet and lubricious, it actually lubricates and keeps the joint cool, what natural cartilage would be doing. Yeah, so all the competitors are just focusing on symptoms, masking symptoms. How do I create a better NSAID? Because that's the gold standard treatment. You give a pill once or twice a day, and the dog doesn't feel any pain. And I would argue it actually leads to further damaging of the cartilage. Because a dog, if they feel pain, they won't jump. In certain situations, they'll jump when they don't feel the pain.
And the bones are still rubbing together.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
you're actually fixing. Now, is that the spring treatment that I see on your website?
Yes.
So that's it. Okay.
Yes.
So, and that's basically what makes you different than other treatments.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. We call it spring with osteocushion technology. The osteocushion are the particles, and those particles have many applications for both humans and animals.
Now, how big of a problem is this for animals?
Well, in the United States, the market size is about 4.8 billion actually, and growing at 7% a year. So in terms of dogs, you're probably looking at 14, 15 million dogs a year that will have it. For horses, it's probably close to 1 million horses. So the population for dogs in the United States is about 65 million. And horses about 7.2 million.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like people are getting more animals.
Yes.
Adopted, especially during the pandemic, but even before that. Like the pet industry was growing so much, so that you would kind of grow along with that, I would think.
Yeah, so, the demographic drivers in the marketplace are that less and less people are getting married. Less and less people are having children, so their pets become their children. And it's called the humanization of the family pet.
The pet parent.
So they become part of the family, and people will spend whatever it takes to improve the quality of life of their pet, just like with their children. Sure. And you see that in the increase of per spending. So in 2012, when a pet owner decided the dollar amount they would end treatment would be about $1,700 in 2012. Today's $10,700 is the dollar threshold before they tell the vet, I don't want to provide any more treatment.
Wow, that's interesting. Now, I don't happen to have a pet.
Okay.
I would love one, but that's another story. But so what if I did and it was aging? Like, what would be the first steps I would take with your company?
Sure. Basically, the first point of diagnosis, the consumer will see the mobility of the animal diminish, the dog. And then they take it into the vet, and the vet generally will do a mobility test or do x-rays. And then they'll be able to identify, hey, the dog has osteoarthritis. The cartilage is wearing away. And you would ask the vet, what are my treatment options? And they generally would say, let's start an NSAID. But, we're providing something probably costing about the same over an annual basis, something that doesn't have the negative side effects, but actually ends up providing pretty much instantaneous mobility increase and quality of life increase for the animal.
And would you ever have the opportunity to take this beyond dogs and horses?
Yes, so we were initially funded by NIH and DOD. So a lot of the work was done on the human side, and that's how we got into the animal side. Is when I joined the company, I said, we have a unique opportunity here that the FDA has declared our product as a device on the animal side. So we can go right in, on the human side, excuse me. So we can go right into the animal side without pre-clearance by the FDA. So we were able to commercially go right into the marketplace.
Yeah. Just real quick, does pet insurance cover this?
Yeah, it has been because we're declared as a veterinary device.
Okay.
And most insurance will cover devices.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So now you've had multiple press releases lately about some personnel, new distribution partner on the East Coast. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So, after we got on NASDAQ with the capital raise, we're utilizing that capital to bring all the pieces together to really help the company grow at a very fast rate. We brought in national sales manager national sales by the name of Mark Middleton. He's got over 30 years of experience. In his last company, he took to 800 million in sales in the veterinary space. And then we brought in Russ Sekur, who was in marketing pretty high up at Pfizer Animal Health.
Okay.
So he's got over 30 years experience in marketing in veterinary devices. So we brought him in, and then to shore up the manufacturing, we brought in Josh Wilhelm. He's got years of experience with medical device manufacturing and high volume. And he knows the materials really well because that was his background in biomaterials. His last position was with a subsidiary of Boston Scientific.
Okay.
And we hired actually 3 additional production people to support him. So from a ramp-up standpoint, we can scale probably for the next 3 to 5 years of whatever forecasts we have in terms of production needs.
So it sounds like you're doing kind of both the research on the devices, but then also some marketing too. You kind of need go both at the same time.
Yeah, well, the device side actually was to strengthen the manufacturing because Josh is an expert on high volume manufacturing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And scaling something. So,
yeah, because we know with scientists and so on, they know how to make this stuff, but they don't know how to scale.
Sure.
That's where you have to bring in the production people, and Josh is definitely a production expert.
So what's next for PetVivo?
We're, the partnership with RAC providing distribution in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania will allow us to really speed up the adoption process with the veterinary doctors. Our Colorado State study is a little bit delayed because of COVID. They're sitting on the campus and people can't bring their dogs on. But we believe that's short term, and we'll have other studies commissioned. So the reason for those studies is more for marketing because we already have no requirements for FDA.
Okay.
And we've done human studies on safety and everything, so it's way beyond what you would do for your animals. But when you're dealing with big organizations, corporate-owned veterinary clinics, they have a legal team that says, check the box for an animal study. And I said, well, we have a human study, which is so much more extensive and severe. They go, well, we just have to have that. So that's why we're doing that.
Yeah, got it. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in, and great to hear about PetVivo and all your success. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jane. It's a real pleasure.
Okay, and thank you as well. We'll be back.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
StrikeForce is a cybersecurity company with products that have unique security features. And with me is Mark Kay, the CEO of StrikeForce, and also George Weller, the Executive Vice President. So Mark, let's start with you. Your stock has been active lately. I saw it took a nice little jump. I mean, what do you attribute that to?
Well, the stock's been very active mainly because of a major interview we did a week ago when we announced our new website, which looks fantastic, and it's out there now, and we'll be saying more about it. And also, you know, in terms of the Rego, we said at that point that we should be closing it soon. Well, we should be closing it today.
Okay.
And if we don't close it today, we should be closing it tomorrow. But it's done. We're taking one more investment for the Rego, and that's it. And then we're shutting it down, and we're not looking for any more investments from anybody, and that's a great thing for us.
Tell me about that Rego investment. I mean, elaborate on that. If you could tell me how much it is, what do you plan to use it for?
Yeah, I can't tell you exactly how much it is right now because it isn't done yet.
Okay.
It'll be done today. But it's definitely a right amount of money that keeps us afloat for over a year or 2 years down the road. And therefore, we don't need any more investments. It keeps us alive. It allows us to pay for the marketing we're doing.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of great marketing that George will talk to you about, and it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, sure.
But it pays for the marketing, the analysts we have, the time we have, and it pays for the people. You know, we're not a large company. We don't want to be a large company. We have 10 employees right now, but we think we'll be doing very well, and the money will cover us extremely well. And the good news is that the Rego will be shut down, and there's no new form of investment being done.
Okay, so George, let's bring you in. So he talked about the marketing and the website. Do you want to talk about the new website?
I'm really proud of this. We spent the last couple of months building a website that becomes not only a website about our products, but it's a resource center for all the industries that we cater to, which is the financial industry, the legal industry, education, manufacturing, you know, all of the government. So it basically becomes a resource center where they could go there, they could understand about the impact of cybersecurity events against them, the attack vectors, and then they also get to see the solutions and sign up to try any of our solutions that they'd like. With just going and clicking a button, one of our folks will reach out to them and we'll immediately talk to them about a specific situation that they're encountering and talk about the technologies that they need to protect themselves.
Yeah, and I introduced as saying you have unique products with features. So do you want to talk about that a little bit? What are some of the products you have that people can't find with other cybersecurity companies?
That's probably the best question.
Yeah.
So StrikeForce, you know, we have 5 different cybersecurity products. Each of our products, they're either patented or they use our patented technologies. And what really sets us apart from all the other cybersecurity companies is we're the inventors of keystroke encryption. We have that embedded into all of our technologies. This way, no matter what you're doing, if you have malware on your computer, they're not going to steal your keystrokes as you're typing. Our authentication system, we're also the inventor and patent holder of what we call out-of-band authentication, which utilizes 2 channels for authenticating. Most people know it as multi-factor authentication, right? Yes, it's multi-factor, but instead of sending all your data on one channel from the person to the server, our system separates that and sends it on 2 channels, and we don't give the hackers an opportunity to get to that second channel. And if they can't get to that channel, they can't log in as you. So that's key. And then the last component is our Safety Chat, and that's our secure video conferencing platform. And it's the only platform that we know of in existence that's built on 5 levels of cybersecurity. And inside, we authenticate every user all the time, so there's no more of these people barging in on your conferences and doing lewd things, saying inappropriate things. But more than that, the end user that's on the meeting creators that's on the video conferencing, we lock down their camera, their microphone, their speakers when people are talking. All companies using enterprises, SMBs that use video conferencing today, they have to now be aware of the data that's going back and forth across video conferencing, and we lock that data down. And like you said, unique, we're the only cybersecurity company in the world that built a video conferencing platform, and we have the only video conferencing platform that was built by a cybersecurity company.
Okay.
So that's what gives us that uniqueness that no other system out there, all the big names that people know, none of them protect the data at the desktop like we do. So that's what.
If you're having a meeting and you're discussing important financial or trade secrets or something like that, you need to have that protected.
Yeah,
and we're going to be
absolutely.
doing more
You
of
would
that,
think,
I feel like,
right?
in the
Yes.
future. I mean,
Oh yeah, the industry is.
You would think.
Oh, absolutely. The industry is slated to grow. Right before the pandemic, video conferencing was at about a $2.5 billion industry, and expected to grow to about $5-6 billion by 2025. Since COVID came out, and now the new hybrid model is out there for remote workers, you know what they already repinned it on that?
100 billion.
Yeah, it's upwards of that. And they said,
not surprised.
and they said that by the end of this decade, that 50% of the world's employees will be using video conferencing on a daily basis.
I believe it. So you potentially have a lot of growth ahead, then, Mark.
We have a lot of growth and a lot of great products that are going to start getting out there. I think, doing interviews like this, Jane, that we get the world to see what StrikeForce is all about, and having a video conferencing tool that's so secure as ours, which is the only one that's that secure. We got to get out there. We got to be growing. We got to be seen by everybody, and everybody should be using it. There's nothing different. And we have other products that we use in the video conferencing product, which makes us so different. We built those products over the past 10 years, and no one else has done anything like that at this point. So, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mark and George. Coming
Thank
in.
you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Jane.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our Hear IQ 4 medical grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
Sologenic is an ecosystem that tokenizes stocks, ETFs, and commodities on demand. And with me is CEO and founder Bob Ras. Welcome. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Jane.
Yes. So provide a quick introduction about Sologenic. What are you doing? What are you aiming to do with the financial markets?
Absolutely. Sologenic allows users and global investors to tokenize and access over 40,000 stocks and ETFs from top 30 global stock exchanges like NASDAQ, NYSE, London Exchange, and etc. Truly, we believe that Wall Street is a little bit outdated, and blockchain technology can play a very important role in disruption of the industry. Tokenization can bring a huge value, into the traditional financial market. Imagine that if global institutional investors and retail investors, they have access to all of these exchanges, global exchanges, on one single platform, and they can actually trade, multiple assets against each other at the same time at a very low cost that can help them to manage their portfolio, in a better way, easier, and that potentially can bring more value and more cash flow into the market.
So that's really the problem that you're solving. Would this be more democratic? I mean, would it bring more people into the market, being able to be the fact that it's tokenized? And what does that mean for an investor? Exactly.
So it means that investors, they can actually tokenize assets. It means that once an asset is tokenized on our central platform, investors, they can actually take the asset outside of the platform. They can have the self-custody of the assets. They can even trade these assets 24/7.
Okay.
Versus the market average, the limitation of the market average we have, on the decentralized exchange. Not only that, we do offer more unique features.
Yes.
For example, fractional trading. That means that you can trade as little as $1. If you can even invest $1 into Amazon stocks right now, it's over $3,000. or cross-trading. That's a very unique feature. That means that, let's say you have Tesla stock, right? That it's a tokenized asset. You take that tokenized asset outside of our centralized platform, you put it on the DEX, and there are other people, other investors that they own, let's say Amazon stocks, right? You can trade, you can convert your Tesla directly to Amazon stocks without having to go through conversion to fiat and then fiat to Amazon.
Very interesting.
So it's a shortcut, and we cut a lot of cost here.
Yeah, how interesting. Yeah, I've never seen that before. I've seen the fractional trading, but not the cross, so that's interesting. So how are you in compliance with security regulations? I mean, and you're headquartered in Canada, right?
No, Estonia.
Oh, Estonia. Okay,
Europe,
so Spain's a blockchain. So, so how do you navigate all the securities, regulations globally?
Yes. In terms of regulations, there are two different regulations involved here. We're talking about securities regulations and AML regulations. For securities regulations, you probably know we are obtaining our securities brokerage firm license, which is called MiFID inside EU. That license gives us the opportunity to offer trading of securities to the European residents, and we can passport the service, outside of Europe to certain countries. So that's for the security side of the matter. We are active inside Europe at this moment, and this is how we are fully in compliance with securities regulations. In terms of AML. Obviously, all users, they have to go through the KYC and AML procedure, which is very standard in the industry. The way that now the question is, how do we authorize investors to trade these securities outside of our platform on the decentralized exchange? That's the question here. So fortunately, because we are using XRP ledger technology, if users, they want to trade these tokenized stocks outside of our platform on the decentralized exchange, each user, they have to whitelist their wallet address. The way it works, with the XRP ledger technology, there is a feature, it's called trust line. It means that you need to open a trust line from your private wallet with Sologenic ecosystem in order to be able to trade that specific stock.
Okay.
So that means that you have to go through KYC and AML.
I see.
So at any point of time, we do understand who owns what assets. And that's exactly what is required by authorities.
Oh, thank you. And thank you as well.
Enjoy the benefits of the world's first patented time-release hemp-based CBD topical cream. Hourglass has achieved increased topical bioavailability of cannabinoids that slowly release our CBD over an extended period of time. Hourglass is 99% CBD, THC-free, and lab-tested, and verified by scanning our QR codes. Visit hourglassonlinestore.com.
Kylin is a company that's focusing on empowering people by owning and maybe even making money off their own data. So with me is the Chief Stratosphere Officer of Kylin, Dewdney. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great to see you too.
So much. So let's do an overview now that we're here of what Kylin is all about.
Yeah, so Kylin is essentially, it's like a data blockchain. And what we're trying to do is give anyone the ability, whether that's companies or whether that's individuals, to be empowered over the coordination, operationalization, and monetization of their own data. Okay, so what that means, just breaking it down to like a use case, is, for example, and I think I've talked about this with you before. We've done it on Zoom in the past, and I'm really happy. By the way, I'm really happy to be here. It's really cool. I'm glad COVID has died down a little bit, and we're able to be in person. But But one of the examples that I talk about a lot, which is a really exciting use case of this D-data world that Kylin imagines, is tokenizing your genome. And what that means is basically you could upload your genome, researchers could access it for a fee, and that could be a business model that is a decentralized business model, and it already exists right now. So companies like 23andMe are selling on the back end your genomic information to researchers for quite a lot of money. So I really love this idea, this use case, because what it does is it equalizes people's value on a global scale. So whether I'm in Botswana or whether I'm here in New York or Toronto or Beijing, my genomic data has like a base level of value that I could share. So I really think that, and what Kylin does is essentially it sits as an infrastructure for that data to be shared between entities in a decentralized way, a trustless way. And that's what we're up to with Kylin.
Okay, so and you and I have talked about like our data is so out there, and so many companies are making money off of it. It does only seem fair that we should have a piece of that. And that's really what you're trying to make happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's going to be quick. So there's this saying like. It happens, it gradually and then all at once.
Yeah.
That was true for DeFi, right? Where, it was 2 or 3 years, people were even saying like, where's DeFi? What's happening with DeFi? And then we had the DeFi summer. It happened all at once. I really do believe in it. 2 or 3 years, this infrastructure is being laid down right now by companies like us and others to some extent, but I think we're one of the better ones. And I'm the most biased person you're going to talk to, by the way, about Kylin. But I think that it's definitely going to be put back into the hands of individuals, this relationship with their data. And once those first stories start coming out about people having these personal capitalizations by using these systems, right, and these networks like Kylin Network, the pressure on decentralizing data silos or or having your data being something that you're not going to share and you're not going to give it out, and you're going to hook up with a decentralized data sharing network like Kylin. I think that pressure is going to be enormous, right? Because you're going to be, it's like as if people were giving out free hot dogs, and then you have your hot dogs and you're like, I'm not going to give out. This is worth something. Why would I just give it to everybody for free?
Right.
It's like, and that's the bargain that we've made in the internet we have had up till now, because it's a half-formed internet. There's no value transfer layer. Blockchain allows a value transfer layer to be operational.
Dylan, thank you so much.
A pleasure. Yeah, always a pleasure. Yeah.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our Hear IQ 4 medical grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
Rego payment architecture enables banks, retailers, companies, and other affinity groups to launch branded digital family wallet ecosystems. And with me is the head of strategy and marketing, Dan Aptor, to explain what Rego payment architecture is all about. Dan, so great to have you here. And why don't we just start with that? Tell me about Rego. Give me an overview.
Yeah, sure. So Rego is a neobank and privacy-first platform. It lends itself actually to in a number of different applications, specifically in the commerce space, both online and in stores. So we currently are addressing, as you rightfully said, kind of the family wallet, virtual debit card space, given kind of the size and the nascency of the addressable market. In fact, just to give you a little bit of stats, Jane, U.S. alone has 70 million children today, and mobile wallet is about a $70 billion total addressable market just in the U.S. Kids and teens represent about 40% of all discretionary spendings today. And influence, if you can believe this, 90% of all household purchases. Not great solutions out there for them to participate in commerce because, they're still under 18 and our traditional banking system has very stringent rules around, how and what they have and can use. So it's really mostly parents giving them currency today. This really kind of alleviates that parent. So what makes Rego special is we're a solution provider that anonymizes PII or personal identifiable information for commerce and transactions. So we hold 3 patents in the space of privacy, PCI attribution, and then identity management. And we're really the only independently certified COPPA and GDPR compliant digital wallet. So for those of your viewers that don't know what COPPA is, it's an act that was created in 1998, really to prevent children's information from being shared, sold, used in any way. It actually stands for Child Online Privacy Protection Act.
Okay, and the GDPR is the European privacy.
That's correct. Yeah.
Law. So,
yeah. Well, not specific to children, but it is specific to identity and identity management. Yeah.
That's right. So, by the way, I have a 12 and a 14-year-old. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, and you have an extensive corporate background. I mean, if Disney, AT&T, what brought you to Rego?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Jane. It's one that many of my colleagues have actually been asking. Why Rego? What are you doing? At Disney, I built games and applications. So in both cases, the job was to convert the unknown to known and then market them and increase sales. For someone with family, just like you, small children, in fact, just like you. For me, these marketing tactics were always worrisome. Because they're quite invasive. The amount of information that's captured, shared, sold, and in some cases actually lost on the dark web is disastrous. And as we've seen with the news of Instagram and constant data breaches, it's a hot topic. And so I joined Rego because I love the mission. We provide children the tools to successfully learn and navigate commerce, but ensure that they always remain safe and their information remains private.
Think you so much, Dan. Fascinating. And I'm going to have this be kid tested on my 12 and 14-year-old. See what they think. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Jane.
Okay.
And this is New to the Street, the Secure segment with your weekly hack featuring Alain Ghiai. Alain Ghiai, GlobeX Data Ltd, the leader in Swiss-hosted private and secure communications and data management. Welcome back, Alain.
Thank you, Anna. Welcome to our viewer, and thanks for having me again.
Lots of hot topics around this issue constantly. Let's get right into it. The epic hack. 15 million people's emails are now out there, just exposed. What happened?
Yeah, so that was interesting because I actually created an Epic account 2-3 months ago to sell a domain to a group, basically a website. And I never heard of Epic, but Epic is quite big in the conservative audience. It's EPIK. Essentially, they got hacked. It's a politically motivated hack by one of these groups. There's a bunch of groups that hack politically, of course, all the time, from the left or from the right. And what's scary is obviously it's not because they got hacked, because they all they have their targets that they have to go after. Epic being a very conservative audience and conservative website hosting. In the article, they talk about QAnon and all these people having their sites registered with them. not necessarily hosted. And what happened is it got hacked. But what's really scary is that the security was non-existent. In fact, they had no protection for people's data, close to no protection, obviously, for the email and the database. Because when a hacker goes like that, they go after the database. The database is a huge thing of millions of people, in this case, 15 of them, 15 million people with their entire life. You got credit card, password, emails, address, everything. And I was very disappointed. I mean, Epic had an amazing customer service, I have to say that. But I'm extremely disappointed at the lack of security, the blatant, really disdain for people's data. I worked with a lot of domain hosting companies, and a domain registrar essentially is a company that if you want to start a business, you want to have a website, you go and you register, you pay your $10, $15 a year. Some go up to thousands depending on these special domains. And that's a registrar. And then a lot of time, because it's a money-making machine, they basically sell you the email. So you have GoDaddy, you have big companies like that. All unsecure, of course, but they make money from you. So they sell you a domain for cheap, and then they upsell everything else. So I was really shocked when I got the email. And today I saw it on the article on StratoSphere. It's just unbelievable, the disdain for people's privacy, intellectual property, really for your whole information that you trust a company to give, right, and your credit card. So right. I'm very upset by it. Obviously, I was probably hacked as well, but this is where I would say always have a different email for these kind of things, because you know somebody's going to either sell the email or hack it.
Right. So walk us through, what should we do if we get that email that we've been hacked? What should we do?
So first of all, you should always have, well, we'll get to that about what you should do with emails. But if you've been hacked, the first thing you do is you check all the websites that you registered with that email. So if you have a gym membership, or you have your Netflix, or you have your domain hosting, check the password. Right away, change the passwords, okay? If you have a credit card registered, and by the way, never save the credit card on the websites. They ask you, we've become lazy in the 21st century. We don't want to think anymore. But if you spend an extra minute of your time to pull out your credit card and retyping it, it's a lot more safe than saving it on your DoorDash or your this. I mean, I know people are, I'm in the security business, so I'd never do that. But if I wasn't in the security business, I would totally do it. It's just easier. Just store the card, because we assume that these companies are going to save your data in a secure way. You know what assume means, what it stands for. It makes an A out of you and me. And that's exactly what it is. We're all guilty. We really should stop storing credit cards on other companies' websites that we have no clue how to secure it. So that's one thing. So change your password. Keep that email because it's already compromised, because if you create a new email, it's going to be compromised as well. So I don't know if I would change the email necessarily. If you want, you can. But definitely change your credit card, change your password, check everything.
Okay. And now, how do we protect ourselves? How does secure mail come into that equation?
Sure. So secure mail is a highly encrypted and private email that never data mines you. We don't use any of the big platforms. For example, Amazon Web Service, Google, Microsoft, we are not on those platforms. So when you buy for, I'm going to put a plug there for Newsmax, if I may. If you put a promo code, Secure Newsmax, SEKUR, Newsmax all together in one word, you get 25% for a whole year. So you're going to spend $7.50 for a highly encrypted email and messaging as well. And that email should be for your personal use. You should not use that email to register on your gym or your DoorDash or your domain hosting or anything else. So have a separate email for your personal use, and have a generic email. I mean, a Gmail is perfect for that because they sell your email to everyone anyway, and have that for your subscriptions.
Thank you so much for your Sekur segment. This is your weekly hack on New to the Street. Thank you for joining us, Alain.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you everyone for watching us.
PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Hello, with me today is Peter Coley from Gansel Energy Group. Thank you so much, Peter, for joining us and giving us some more information about Gansel Energy. Of course, OTC market symbol GEGR. And Peter, I know you've recently joined the company as a chief financial officer and director. So give us your background and what brought you to Gansel Energy.
The background is I've been working in Europe the last 25 years between Switzerland and Italy. I have a master's degree here in Italy, and mainly in project funding, compliance, large-term project funding, things like that, and working a lot in the finance. And since 2017, we was collaborating with a hybrid law studio here in Rome that was already consulting to Gansel.
Sounds like you've had a very interesting career so far. So, and I've seen a lot of press releases lately from Gansel on new corporate investments. So there was one I wanted to ask you about, Monfort SRL. So can you give us some background on that company and how does it fit into the Gansel ecosystem?
Okay, so Monfort is a company essentially set up inside of a shipbuilding yard in a company called Fincantieri, which is one of the largest companies in Italy, and it's probably one of the 2-3 most important shipbuilding companies in the world. They're really heavily involved in the manufacture of cruise ships, also very large ocean-going vessels. And we got excited about the company. They have an amazing, let's say, portfolio of bookings and billings that go into several years. So they're solid on the commercial side. It's a classic thing with companies like that. They're in a period where they can really start to grow, but they've got cash flow problems. And so we've just been coming in on the backside a lot through also the new CEO, just trying to look and see what we can do to help a lot of these companies improve their cash flow status. So we're not really looking at this in terms of financing something that's going bad. Okay, we look at the company as we want to come in and we want to make it better. Something that's already there. So it's kind of a different way to look. We're trying to think out of the box, I guess you could say right now. And by doing that, we're applying a lot of funds that the chairman's bringing in and some of the other shareholders, the PPM programs, and we're trying to work in a way where we distribute, let's say, what liquidity we have in terms of investment into a broad portfolio of firms that don't need to be actually saved. They just need extra oxygen or extra fuel to move forward with their plans. And that's generally a big problem in a lot of small, medium companies, is the cash flow situation. They're looking at bookings and billings and stuff like that. We're trying to analyze these things and just set them on track and get as little involved in the actual management of the company itself. I'd say we're more observers to what's happening than the actual management. So if the management looks good, we come in, we leave the management in place, and we just try to keep them on track, try to keep the machine as well running and oiled as we can. That's the purpose.
Okay. Thank you so much, Peter. PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Cosmos is a crypto project similar to Ethereum with interoperability. And so with me to explain exactly what Cosmos is and what all that means, Ben Armstrong and then also Peng Zong to explain this. So Ben, let's start with you. So you support the Cosmos project. Talk about what it is. What do you like about it?
Yeah, so I've always been a big proponent, ever since I got into crypto and altcoins, of smart contract platforms. I believe they're the future. I believe they got way more potential than Bitcoin ever dreamed of having. Much more functional. They serve purposes other than just being digital gold or currency. And so when I started looking into a lot of these projects early on, obviously Ethereum and then Tron and EOS were some of the bigger ones early on that seemed to be doing okay. But they still kept running into all of these different issues. And so we had kind of a new generation of, smart contract platform that started raising up. And one of those is Cosmos. And the focus of Cosmos, like you mentioned, is interoperability. So the idea is a huge problem in crypto is getting blockchains to work together. So like if I went on Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange, ran on the Ethereum blockchain, I can't directly go and get assets that are on other chains. There are some workarounds like wrapped assets, synthetic versions of assets, but for actually trading an Ethereum-based asset versus, another kind of asset, you can't do it because they're not interoperable. The chains, they kind of just run, parallel to each other instead of perpendicular. And so Cosmos is set out to solve this problem. Of course, Tendermint, the company, the infrastructure lying beneath Cosmos, they've set out to solve this problem. And so far, they're doing a really good job. For a long time, I've said I think Cosmos is definitely one of the most underrated projects in all of crypto. Even though it does stay consistently in the top 50, I think it can go much higher because of, like I said, the problem they're trying to solve is what many people would believe the biggest problem in crypto.
They're interesting. I've never thought about that, making the blockchains work together. So, I mean, I guess at some point that will have to happen as blockchain and this whole industry grows. So, okay. So Peng, now, so you are CEO of Tendermint, and explain its relationship to Cosmos, and then talk a little bit about decentralization and explain why that matters.
Yeah, happy to chat about it. So Tendermint is a core company building Cosmos core infrastructure. Like Ben said, we do a lot of development that is required, to make sure blockchains can interoperate between each other. But Cosmos is a very decentralized entity, right? So while I'm the CEO of Tendermint, there are roughly 15 other core companies all building Cosmos tech. And that really is the strength of the ecosystem. So decentralized finance, right, is something that is on the tip of everyone's tongues today, especially in Ethereum. And it's always marketed as sort of this way to democratize access, to finance for everyone around the world, right? You don't have to go through, any sort of centralized intermediaries to transfer money or to get loans or, to make swaps or to trade assets. And, Ethereum has really brought that promise to life, I would say. But one of the biggest problems with Ethereum is the very high transaction costs, right? So as democratic as it is, you still need quite a big chunk of change to start getting into crypto and Ethereum, right? It's been said today that, if you have under $1,000 worth of assets that you want to start trading on the Ethereum platform with an exchange like Uniswap, you might not want to do it just because it can cost upwards of hundreds of dollars in fees just to make one swap, at which point, you don't have a much smaller,
Thank you guys. So interesting. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane.
PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Sekur is a product from GlobeX Data that has a different way of approaching cybersecurity. And with me is the CEO, Alain Ghiai, to explain Sekur and GlobeX Data. Welcome, Alain. Great to see you again.
Great to see you, Jane. Thanks for having me, and hello to our viewer out there.
So let's start with the 30,000-foot view. Tell me about the company, the products, and then we'll dig a little deeper in exactly what you're trying to do.
Sure. So GlobeX Data SA is a private Swiss company started by myself. I'm the largest shareholder of that company, myself being a Swiss citizen as well. We started in 2007, 2008, and started to create a product which now is essentially called Sekur Suite. It's a document management tool. It has an email The data is all hosted in Switzerland. We use proprietary technology, and we don't use any big tech platform, which is a huge thing. In 2012, we spun off a US division, GlobeX Data Inc. We even had Comcast as clients who were on their first cloud platform. And in 2019, we created our Canadian division, which essentially did a microcap IPO in July 2019. And in October 2019, we got listed on the OTCQB under ticker SwissF, SWISF. So this is kind of the general picture of the company. Management has a 35% ownership, which is a very large ownership for a public company. So we definitely have the interests of all shareholders at hand.
Okay. And then we're focusing on the Sekur product today, the suite of products. Go into a little bit more depth about what all you offer with Sekur.
So Sekur, spelled SEKUR, is a solution that offers secure communication. We have a Sekur, which is an email and messenger. We have Sekur Messenger, which is just a messaging app. And we're also launching Sekur Voice at the end of this year, 2021, and Sekur Pro in Q1 of 22, which will be a replacement to Zoom. So what's very particular about what we do is the following. First of all, we use proprietary technologies, and we don't use open source coding. That is huge because 99% of the software uses open source coding, and it has now reached its limit of advantages because hackers are getting into those right now. We also store our data only in Switzerland. So that's also nice because Switzerland has the highest data privacy laws in the world, the strictest. And we also do not host anything on big tech platform. We have our own. So we also protect our users from any kind of intrusive laws. So that's critical. So Sekur is only $10 a month. You get a nice email, 100 gigabyte of storage. You can also email and message non-secure user, guaranteeing you and the recipient a round-trip communication in full privacy. The difference in what we do is that we communicate throughout our secure server environment in Switzerland, as opposed to sending information back and forth over the internet. So we don't have business email compromise. We don't have man-in-the-middle attack, and these kind of hacks that you read about every day all over.
Every day. And that's a key thing, is that you can use a secure product, but the person you're communicating with does not need to have it in order for you to communicate and for it to be secure. Correct.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to communicate with my stockbroker, for example, and I need them to wire money in my bank account. Typically, a person would email, even if they have the best email in their office. When the email leaves their server, it becomes unprotected. And this is how hackers can get in. They read and scan the documents, they read everything, and now they have your bank account information, and they can even go in and take money out. There's been many articles published about bank accounts being emptied by hackers. Whereas with us, we use our technology called Secure Send. My broker can open it, and then they can secure reply. And the whole thing happens only within our secure Swiss environment. So, and they don't need to have the application at all. And we do the same with instant messaging, where we basically send a message to someone via an email, and then they click and they chat with us directly. It opens this closed loop pipeline.
And that's the key thing, is that you don't use like the biggies, like the Amazon Web Services. You touched on it a little bit, but that's really kind of your secret sauce, right?
Yes, we actually have a few layers of secret sauce. So one of them is the infrastructure. That is massive. So we don't use the big tech like Amazon Web Service, Microsoft or Google Cloud, and so forth. Most companies, even the private ones, they have no choice. They go to Amazon Web Service. We also don't require you to put your phone number when you register to our service and download the app, because the minute you give your phone number away in a messaging application, hackers can get into your device, and they also can get into all your contacts, because people synchronize their contact and upload all their contacts. So we have a thing called Secure Number. It's like the old Swiss bank account number 50 years ago, where you had this secret bank account information. And here it's a secure number as opposed to your real phone number. So you get anonymity, privacy, security, and nobody can get in like that because they don't even know you're using it.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that we read about a hack literally every day. How big is the market for Sekur?
We've done some research, and a while back we found that, first of all, according to the World Economic Forum, which is held in Davos, Switzerland every year, the cybersecurity is costing the global economy $7 trillion a year. That's quite a lot in real damage and lack of productivity. The market for cybersecurity, which is a very vast sector, it could be from hardware to software, is about $500 billion a year. So it's a big market, 500 billion. Some of that is email, some of that is machines, some of that is communication. Definitely we can take a slice out of that.
Well, and I imagine it's just a growing market too. I mean, it feels like the hackers are always out there and outsmarting us and getting in there. So it seems like it's a huge growth industry.
Well, we basically rely on data for everything now. So if you want to sell a product, you're going to basically buy some data and target people based on that data. Data is everywhere. It's the new oil, essentially. And we create new data every month. And everything, even your thermostat has a data right now. So it's going to get much worse. It's an exponential problem. And the big issue is because way back when everybody started to develop these cloud platforms that were free and easy to use, namely the big tech platform, now we see the other side of the coin, the more negative side, the weakness, and that's where all the hackers get in.
Okay. Well, this is certainly an important and growing industry as we go forward with more digitization of the world. So thank you so much, Alain, for coming and explaining Sekur and GlobeX Data.
You're welcome. It's all digital, and we never data mine you. That's important to know.
Thank you.